fix your hair.
That's a pretty good visual. If you saw the one hair that I have, you said fix my hair, and you're right.
All right, Chambers County Probate Court will come to order. If you're going to testify, I need you to raise your right hand.
Correct. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
Okay, you can put your hand down. First on the docket, cause number 22, the state of Beidleu, Emmenheiser. Mr. Conley, you on? All right, I see Becky Conley, but no answer. Let's go down to 23, the state of Stephen Richard Edmonds. Mr. Baker, you may proceed.
Yes, sir. Before I begin, this is it's a probate of a will that Mr. Edmonds resided in Louisiana, but then he died in Texas. And he's a lifelong resident here, but he had moved to Louisiana. And the only issue that we're going to need a substantive decision on is the amount of the bond, because it's an independent administration, but he didn't waive bond or security. So, all right, now, you are Diane Edmonds Tunsey, correct?
Correct.
And you're here offering for probate the will of Stephen Richard Edmonds, correct?
Correct.
And he's your brother, or was, and he, okay. Now, at the time that he died, he resided at 305 Knapp Street, Iowa, Louisiana, in Calcasieu Parish. Is that right?
That's correct.
But he died here in Texas because he had bad illness and you were taking care of.
That's correct.
And so he was born 16 December 1955 in Anahuac, right?
Yes. Yes.
And he died 7 February 2024 in Harris County, Texas, at the age of 68 years.
That's correct.
And now you are familiar with this business because you helped him for a number of years.
Yes.
And you were the trustee of your mama's testamentary trust that
Yes.
benefited him, that ended when he died.
Correct.
Okay. Now, the last will and testament of Stephen Richard Edmonds that we produced for court, that's dated 22 September of 2021. Is that his last known will and testament?
Yes.
And you are a witness on that, and your husband Rex is the other witness.
That's correct.
All right, okay. And after the date of that will, did Steve have any children?
No.
Now, he had only 2 children, right?
Meredith Healy Edmonds and Chase Edmonds.
And they're the beneficiaries in his will.
That's correct.
All right, and he appointed you as independent executrix to serve as the personal representative of his estate.
That's correct.
All right, and there's no reason you cannot serve. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I mean, you're not.
No.
All right, you're a suitable person.
I think so.
And in fact, you're probably the best person to serve out of everybody else, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, is it also true that the substantial part of Steve's estate is located in Chambers County, Texas?
Yes, we have land here.
It's an undivided interest in a 15-acre tract of land.
Yes.
Because he didn't have a whole lot. And he had some cash financial accounts, but on personal property and things like that, he really didn't have much.
That's right.
And he didn't have a home somewhere. He lived in an RV, right?
Yes.
And so, and there's not a whole lot of debts out there, other than we've got some issues with some IRS and child support lien issues,
Yes.
right?
That's right.
And so, and I have in my trust account $11,500,
Yes.
and then you have some financial accounts, probably $60,000-$70,000 in investment accounts
Yes.
that you're going to manage.
Yes.
And then if the judge appoints you as representative of the estate, you're going to marshal those funds and put them in an estate account.
That's correct.
Right. And so, but all the last bills of his medical bills and all that, has that been taken care of?
We're still waiting on a return of payment from the nursing home because he had paid for the full month of February and he died February 7th.
Okay, and the funeral expense has been paid.
It's been paid.
All right. So there's no big ticket item out there other than what existed before he died.
That's correct.
And there's no last illness expenses that you anticipate.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any bank notes and things like that,
No.
right? Right. Okay. Now, is it also true that when he died, he was not married?
That's correct.
He'd only been married, what, once?
Twice.
Twice? And when was the last, when did it end?
I don't remember.
I can't remember it either. I remember the one.
I don't remember. It was probably back in between 93 and 96, I would
Okay.
think.
All right. And now, if Steve had ever revoked his will, is it likely you would have known about it?
Yes,
Okay. And is it true that your residential address is 4521A West Bay Shore Road, Anahuac, Texas 77514 in Chambers County?
that's correct.
And your mailing address is P.O. Box 935, Anahuac, Texas.
Correct.
Now, I showed you a 2-page document entitled Proof of Death and Other Facts.
Yes,
You have read this,
I
correct?
read that.
And is the contents true?
Yes,
And we're going to file this as part of the evidentiary record in this case.
Yes.
So, okay. Let's see. Now, Judge, as the will shows, or in the absence of the will, there's no state, charitable organization, or governmental agency that is a beneficiary. And there was, and is it true that Steve did not receive Medicaid? You may have applied for it, but he didn't receive it.
I think at one point he might have received some Medicaid,
Okay,
but here in the end, it was just Medicare that he was receiving.
right, he was on Medicare.
Yeah, but at one point before he turned 65, I think he might have been on Medicaid. He had had a heart attack and was unable to work at that point,
Okay,
but it switched over once he turned 65, is my understanding, to Medicare.
then we'll submit a form to see if Medicaid will make any claims in this
Okay.
case. Okay, all right. Judge, with that, we ask that you admit the will to probate, appoint Ms. Tunzi as the independent executrix, and that I would suggest a bond of around $10,000. She's going to have to get a surety bond on it, but she's going to have possession of all the financial assets. And so that's a deduction you make. There's little to no personality, and then the land's not going to go anywhere.
Okay, I'll agree to that bond amount of 10,000 and everybody admits the will to probate and authorize the letter.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all take care.
Yes, sir.
All right, back to cause number 22, the state of Betty Lou Emmenheiser. Mr. Conley.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I need, there you are. I need, raise your right hand, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
So help me God, yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. You may proceed, counsel.
Okay, Judge, we have, it's come to my attention that the application and the proof of death lists the place of death of Ms. Emmenheiser as Winnie, Chambers County. She actually passed at the Harbor Hospice in Jefferson County, but she's domiciled in Winnie in Chambers County and interred in Winnie. And we'd like to amend those two documents only to show that the place of death was Jefferson County, Texas. And with that, if you approve that, we can proceed with the proof of death and other facts.
Yes, sir. You can file that amended order, but go ahead and proceed.
Okay. Mr. Emmenheiser, did Betty Lou Emmenheiser pass away September 21st, 2023 in Jefferson County, Texas at the age of 79?
Yes, sir.
And 4 years have not passed since the elapsed since the date of her death?
No, sir.
And Ms. Emmenheiser was a resident of and had a domicile or fixed place of residence in Chambers County, Texas.
Yes, sir.
The document dated August 26, 2016 that I show you now, okay, and purports to be her will. To your knowledge, was this ever revoked?
No, sir.
Okay. A necessity exists for the administration of this estate,
Yes.
and no children were born or adopted to the decedent after execution of this will.
No, sir.
No state or government agency or charitable organization is named as a devisee in this will.
No, sir.
And you, Mr. Emmenheiser, as executor named in the decedent's will, are not a convicted felon, and you are not disqualified by law from accepting letters testamentary.
Yeah, I'm not qualified.
Okay.
Not disqualified. Correct, sir.
Your Honor, we ask that this will be admitted to probate and Mr. Emmenheiser, the appointed executor, serving without bond.
Everybody may throw a probate and authorize letters. Thank you,
Say
Counsel.
again, please.
Done. So done.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thanks you. Take care.
Yes, sir.
All right, call number 25, the state of Oscar Gerald Basden Senior.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Your Honor, my name is Denise Grays, and the decedent, Oscar Gerald Basden Sr., died on June 24th of 2020 in Baytown, Harris County, Texas, at the age of 83 years, and 4 years have not elapsed since the date of decedent's death and before the filing of this application. The court has jurisdiction and venue over the decedent in that he was domiciled and had a fixed place of residence in Chambers County, Texas on the date of his death. To the best of my knowledge, decedent died testate, and the document dated July 21st, 2016, which has been previously filed with the court, was never revoked to the best of my knowledge, and the decedent's will was self-approved. A necessity exists for the administration of the estate. After the date of the will, no child was born to or adopted by the decedent, and after the date of the will, a decedent was never married or no marriage was dissolved. The will named Jacqueline Angela Bell to serve as independent executor, and she is not disqualified from accepting the letters or from serving and is entitled to such letters. She does not have a felony record. The will did not leave any property to a charity or governmental agency. This is a non-taxable estate, and we were asking the court to waive the appointment of appraisers. Nothing further.
Those letters. Thanks, Counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, last but not least, cause number 28, state of Douglas John Banks Senior, Ms. Dunham, good morning.
Morning, Judge.
Ma'am.
Myrna Dunham here, appearing for Lila Savage.
Yes, ma'am.
I would call Beth Ann Banks. Are you the surviving widow of Douglas John Banks Senior? Yes. And do you reside in Chambers County, Texas? Yes. Did your husband, Douglas, die on January 29th, 2024 in Houston, Harris County, Texas at the age of 60? Yes. Did he have his primary residence in Chambers County at the time of his death? Yes. Did he own real and personal property described generally as the home, cash, automobiles, household goods, personal effects of a probable value of over $300,000? Yes. And the estate is not taxable, is that correct? Yes. We've gone over what that consists of. Yes. Are you asking that the court waive appraisers? Yes. And did your husband leave a will that was dated October 15th, 2008? Yes. And the will was self-proved with witnesses? Yes. And those were friends of yours that you brought to be witnesses. And the will doesn't leave anything to any charity or governmental agency? No. There were no children born or adopted to your husband after the date of that will? No. And he was never divorced after the date of that will? No. A necessity exists for the administration of the estate in terms of your house and a car, vehicle. And he named you as your independent executrix in his will to serve without bond, and you're asking that the court appoint you as independent executrix. Yes. And you've never been convicted of a felony?
No.
You're not otherwise disqualified?
No.
And you're asking that the court grant the order appointing you independent executrix and give you letters of independent.
Yes.
That's all we have, Judge.
If I miss the probate and authorized letters. You ladies have a good day.
Thank you.
Yeah.